Hey guys, so I am finally back with another thing of bus stories. I have been intending to talk about bus stories for so incredibly long, so long in fact, that I must have forgotten that I got rid of my previous bus stories because I'd forgotten about them. And so I do have some because the last couple of weeks I've also been taking the bus, but it's not everything I wanted to share with you. Okay, first one, this is from I think 2 and a bit weeks ago. So 2 or so weeks ago I was incredibly sick because I'd had an injection and I must have gotten a bad reaction to it, and so I got like a fever during the night, or a flu, whatever it's called, and so it went from hot to cold and I couldn't sleep at all the whole night. Like I was literally up the entire night. And so I woke up in the morning and my father was like, you can't go to school today, go to bed. So I went back to bed, and then I knew I really wanted to go to school for the last 2 lessons of the day because I had such an important subject that I just knew I couldn't miss. So I took a bus. Now this has happened before, and I think I might have mentioned it before, that one time when I was also sick. I vomited in the morning and then I went on the bus later that same day. This seems to be a thing with me. So here's the story. There are 2 to 3 stories with this crazy story. So I'm just gonna, based on that day, okay? So firstly, I was at a bus stop and there was this quite long bench, but there were 3 people and 2 were together and 1 was not. And so these 2 people, the 3 people were spread out in such a way that I couldn't sit between them or on either end. And I was like I had a headache because of standing and also because of the previous night and whatever. I just kept getting a headache every time I had to stand up. And this woman picked up her child and literally moved her across just enough for me to be able to sit down, and I appreciated it so much. Like, she probably just did it because whatever, but it was, that tiny gesture made such a huge difference to me. It was incredible. Okay, then next we were on the bus and there was this old man who had like a walking thing and was trying to walk off, and there was a huge crowd by the door waiting to get on, and they hadn't seen the man, and so they were like pushing and shoving and they're like, why is no one getting on? And the bus driver told them to be patient. When they saw the old man, they literally split into 2 groups, creating a pathway for him and being super patient, and it just made me so happy. Oh yeah, and then, same bus driver, a woman asked to get off, like she wasn't sure where she had to get off. And I don't know what the bus driver said, I wasn't hearing their conversation, but suddenly like the bus just stopped when there was no one had pressed the ding thing, and no one was standing at the stop. And the woman was like, is this where I get off? And he was like, yeah. So he just stopped for her, simply because she'd asked and she wasn't sure. And it was so nice. Just, people make me happy. This little baby girl, the bus driver tried to give her a high five because she was in a pram and she was like being pulled out, and tried to give a high five. She didn't, because her hands were full. But she said, like, in this adorable little baby voice, bye bye. The bus driver responded bye bye, like, just like, oh bye. And it just made me so happy. Why do these things make me so happy? This week, similar thing happened. This woman was pulling the girl off the bus, and instead of like waving and stuff, she just does a little tiny cute bye. And the bus driver was just like smiling, and I just, oh. Now, let's get on to today. Today I took a bus. I took 2 buses. And, well, I took 2 buses and a tram because it was a very long journey. This is the story that, like, I was experiencing it, and I was like thinking bus story, bus story, bus story. A bus arrived without a number. So it came to the stop and there were like 5 or 6 buses that could come there, maybe less, I don't know, I don't count. And it had no number. And we were like, which bus are you? And so someone asked, and they found out it was, we'll call it AAA. Now, when we walked away, the bus driver changed the screen to say AAA, going in this direction, blah, blah, blah. Then, 2 minutes later, the name of the thing changed to AAB, which was the bus we all needed. And we asked, like, are you still going to AAA, or have you now changed your mind and are going to AAB? We were all like super confused. And he goes, no, we're still going to AAA. And we're like, okay, if you say so, but we're all a bit like, Usually buses come once like every 40 minutes, by the way, so like, you want to get your bus. Okay, so then the real AAA bus came, and so we asked him, hey, are you like really AAA? Because we're not sure if this is happening. And he's like, no, of course I am. And we're like, but the bus in front is AAA, but it says AAB. Well, we didn't explain that to him. So he came out and was looking, and he was like, no, look, it says AAB. And we're like, yes, but he's saying AAA. And so we asked the bus driver in the AAB, which was A, which was B. We were all really confused about that. And then the bus driver, who was really from AAA, and we told them to ask each other where they were going, and the guy was still like, no, I'm AAA. Eventually, they were discussing this, they were like pulling out their schedules and shifts and whatever, and we all, like 5 of us or something, it wasn't a huge group, and these were all strangers, we were all strangers to each other, just started talking about how we wanted to get home and how, like, if one of them could just choose to be AAA, one could just choose to be AAB, we'd all appreciate it. And yeah, and so we were like becoming this like group of like, we want to get home. Then finally the front bus said, I'm AAB, and we all got on, we're like, yes, and he turned around and told everyone, yep, okay, everyone clear that this is AAB now, not AAA. Everyone was like, yeah, cool, let's go home. And then someone else walked on the bus, obviously, but none of us noticed. And then as I was writing this happened. 2 minutes or so after we left, the bus driver turns around, sees this woman, and says, oh, sorry miss, forgot about you. This bus isn't going to that destination anymore. You have to take the AAA to get there. And then he looks and, oh, it's just left. Remember what I just said? Buses came once every 40 minutes. 40 minutes, okay? This woman has just missed her bus because of some stupid misconfusion because of this weird bus driver, and I'm sorry, I really appreciate what the bus drivers do, and maybe it was a trial shift, I don't know. But I feel so bad for this poor lady who now had to wait another 40 minutes to get home, like, I'm gonna go. Goodbye.